Good morning. Buenos dias. And welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. Our weekly worship is where we connect, share information, and inspiration. My name is Calli Biemer. My pronouns are she and her. Was a member here about 10 years ago and then moved to Kerrville for quite a while, was a member up there, and since 2023 I've rejoined here. And it's great to see a lot of faces that I knew from back in my first foray here. So, and all the new faces are wonderful to see. Excuse me. Our faith is all-inclusive, and all means all. We strive to enact a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection. If I could direct your attention to the screen, we're going to read in unison our land acknowledgement. As a part of our work for justice for our planet and all its people, we covenant to recognize that San Antonio, also called Yanaguana, is originally the homeland of the Coahuiltecan people who have lived here for 8,000 years. We support them as they address systemic oppression and work to protect their land and traditions. Because they are acknowledged keepers of this area, including them in decisions about this land and its people will benefit us all. We invite those who are visiting us to rise so we can see you and greet you. Anybody? Welcome. If you're interested in becoming a member of the community, please ask any member or staff. There is a place for you here. We have a membership book that you sign, and we ask you to make an annual contribution to help fund the ministry. If you're new to us or just visiting for the first time today, we welcome you to fill out a yellow visitor's card, and we'd like to get to know you better and follow up with you. In case you're wondering, we do save the last 2 pews for those who might need a last-minute seat. Wherever you are on your life's journey, we hope you will find your place with us. Now I invite you to greet your neighbors so that you can extend a warm welcome to those who are on the journey with us.
Good morning and happy spring equinox. I'm Xolani, Kacela, he, him pronouns, and I offer you these opening words from the book Ostara. Maiden goddess, soon to be mother, known by many names, I invoke your presence today on this day of balance, of equal day and equal night, on this day of beginnings, to join with us in celebration. Goddess of the earth, Goddess of all living things, Goddess of the spring, join us now. We light our chalice this morning in honor of springtime and the spring equinox. Our opening hymn is number 38, Morning is Broken. I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community where all are welcome as blessings. Let's recite our covenant that articulates our promises and binds us together. If you'll please read together. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. Su sacramento es la búsqueda de la verdad. Y su oración es el servicio. Convivir en paz. Buscar sabiduría en libertad. Dar a la humanidad nuestro servicio fraternal para que todas las almas crezcan en armonía con la divinidad. Así pactamos el uno con el otro. As we move into worship together, you're invited to settle into whatever posture feels most open and receptive to you. Hands resting, eyes soft or closed, feet grounded. Across many traditions, stillness has been a doorway to presence, deep listening, what some call God, the sacred, or simply the quiet wisdom we carry inside us. However you've arrived today, rushed or rested, certain or searching, this hour belongs to you. You may find that something moves in you and asks to be expressed. Trust that. Let yourself be fully present to whatever arises within, and let yourself be moved as you feel. This is now the time for our stone ceremony. The combination of the two, water and rock, remind us of the impermanence of all states of being, despite how unchanging they may appear at first glance. Like water, time is also a universal solvent, changing everything in its wake. Consider those changes time makes in your own life and find the unchanging stone center of your own self. I now invite you to come forward for our stone ceremony.
We have a few entries today from our Community Book of Life. I want to remind you that we have a photo exhibit in the fellowship hall from Reverend Yachty, who will be here next Sunday. I invite you to please go by there and check that out. Happy birthday to Sam Lecompte, who turned 32. Hey, Sam. Orgulloso, or proud that we had a successful assembly for people of color on Saturday. Happy to welcome our visitors for the first UU today. We are grateful that they have joined us. From Stephanie Younts, she writes, last night I had to tell my daughter that our DLRE had been placed on leave. When I explained why, her response broke my heart. It became very clear that the situation is not lost on even the youngest members of our congregation. She asked, but isn't the whole point of our religion that love is at the center? We tout that we choose love, that love is love, that we side with love. Now is the time to show that our actions, that we mean it. Our children, the future of this church, are watching. Please, let's show them that love is really at the center. Stephanie. And sending out support to Alicia, Tim, and the congregation. We invite you for a moment of meditation and prayer. It's been a difficult week for many of us. Even got that harsh news that people are taking down the names of Cesar Chavez around the country following the allegations against him. The war rages on, the wars rage on. Our economy continues to be difficult. The price of gas is $1 higher than it was per gallon a month ago, and we're just struggling all over. But there is hope. And I invite you to a moment of meditation. This also comes from the book that we're reading today. Great Goddess, Mother of us all, giver of life and creator of all things, life has many twists and turns, and now we find ourselves on a new, unexpected path. It is a fresh path that we fear traveling alone. We ask for your guidance and your loving, helping hand to support us on our way. I ask that when needed, you will lead us in the right direction and steer us away from wrong turns. Help us keep ourselves on the path and not stray away even when tempted. Assist us in moving forward and not in reverse. Comfort us when needed. Bless our paths and journeys we take on this path. Encourage us in times of self-doubt. Protect us from those willing to harm us, even if it is ourselves. Embrace us in your loving arms. Give us peace and surround us in perfect love and perfect trust. We ask this in the name of all persons into the silence. Mother Goddess, we do ask that you help us to find perfect peace and perfect trust. We ask it in the name of all persons, present and absent, known and unknown, remembered and unknown, and all helpers of humankind. Amen. And may it be so, because we make it so. I want to now invite Kathy Beggs to come forward for our story of wisdom.
Hello. Hi, if any children can come to the front. Hi. Take a seat. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kathy, and today I wanted to start out with asking you a question. You know, during Christmas, right near there, the days start getting really short, and the nights are really long. Yeah. What does anybody know what that is?
Is it the winter equinox?
It's not the equinox, it's the solstice. So we have the winter solstice. Good job. Good. Good. Good job.
Celebrate that holiday.
Yeah, lots of people celebrate that holiday. And then again, in the summer, at the end of June, we have another time around June 21st, and the days are super long. Does anybody know what that is? I bet you do. What is that one?
Summer equinox.
The summer solstice, right. Okay, so we have those two times, but right now is another time that's important. Does anybody know what that is? We said it twice. Yeah.
Spring equinox.
Oh, very good, the spring equinox, excellent. So equinox, where we have equal day and night, right? Okay, is also a really important time. So that winter solstice, that tells us when the official winter is starting. Summer solstice tells us when official summer starts. And the spring equinox tells us when spring is starting, right? And do y'all like spring? Yeah, like pretty much everybody loves spring. Did you want to say something? No, okay. Oh, you do? Go ahead.
Spring is when lots of flowers and the animals make babies.
That's right. Did you? Okay, yeah.
I love it. I like spring because there's no school on spring. Because there is school on spring.
Okay, just a second. So when I think about spring, I think about wildflowers. Has anybody seen the bluebonnets out right now? Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to see. And what else were we talking about? Little animals? Has anybody seen little baby animals? Yeah. What about birds? I have a bird in my backyard right now. Does anybody else have any of those? Yeah. Do you want to tell us about it?
No, I don't have one.
You don't have one? Did you want to tell me about it? Sure.
Yesterday morning, there was a bird outside my window. I was sleeping, and it kept chirping.
It kept chirping. Yeah, they do that, huh? Yeah, go ahead.
I saw an eagle in the air one day.
That's awesome.
So yesterday morning, I think, or whatever it was, we saw like a giant black bird. It was making different sounds, and it was really cool.
Okay, that's awesome. One more. Wait a second.
The other day ago, me and my dad, while we were driving, we saw a hawk on a power cable.
That's cool. Okay, so we know that the equinox, that people love thinking about spring. And because we have equal day and night, some people in the world like to do fun things like try to balance an egg on the end. Has anybody ever tried to do that? You watch people try? Okay. And or like balance a broom on the end? It's crazy. You tried to be a witch with a broom? Yeah. So So we have this cool holiday that makes us think about spring and flowers and everything else. And did you know that there's many holidays all over the world that talk about spring and the equinox? I'm going to tell y'all about a couple of those because there were so many, I'm not even going to be able to tell them all. We have a Persian holiday called Nowruz, and that's from like Zoroastrianism. Ostara, which is pagan. You know about that?
That's what I celebrate.
Okay.
On this week's Friday.
That's right.
And there's a egg hunt. You get to do it if you celebrate that holiday.
Very cool. And then we have Passover, that's Jewish. We have Easter, that's coming up. That's Christian and pagan. Holi, which is Hindu, and there's so many more. And people for thousands of years have celebrated the spring. So, to finish up, I just wanted to remind you all, as children, and that children and young things are so important this time of year because you all represent the renewal and growth and fertility, and I hope you all have a lovely equinox. Thank you so much, guys.
We will.
We're in the midst of our stewardship campaign, and Tavis McGinn is going to come and say a few words to you.
Hello, everyone. It feels like again since we just were with each other last week. I am Tavis McGinn. It is my privilege to be a lifelong UU. It is my pride to be a member of this congregation since 2011, and it is my mixed emotions to have pledged for some of that time. You may be wondering why I would come up here and give a testimony when I didn't pledge. There were a couple of years where Jaime and I sang for an Episcopal church, and that gave me money for a service rendered, right? That was a service that I was providing for monetary consumption. True story, then I ran into Susan Dill at HEB, like you do, and she said, Tavis, I'm really excited to tell you about this church. You've probably never heard of it because no one has. It's called Unity, right? So then I'm like, okay, do I want to be paid for a service or do I want to serve and not be paid? And so I came here in 2011, I joined the choir, and truthfully, I would sing, and then right after I was done singing, that was my service, that was my Sunday, and I left. I would just walk right out that door before we could watch it back. But anyway, eventually I decided I had a hard decision to make. Is my service singing in RE, is that service enough to sustain what I want this church to be? And anytime I've talked to a UU that has needed to make a hard decision, I've always counseled them exactly one way. Let's think about our values. If what you decide goes with your values, then that's going to be a good decision, I think. So at that time, our values as printed on our website, on our logo, invite, enrich, inspire. We invited people that didn't know about us to come here, as most of you didn't know about us at some point in your life, but now you do. We inspired people to take our values and bring them out into the world. We enriched lives, whether you were here physically or just getting the support of this congregation. So I think it's important now to say what happens in my real life when somebody says, hey, Tavis, what church do you go to? Right? I always tell them the same thing. Oh, I go to First UU. Oh, really? And they usually say, where's that, not what's that. Where's that? Oh, yeah, it's 410 and I-10, right? Beacon on a hill. You can see, right? Oh, yeah, I've seen that before. Great. I mean, you know, as long as you believe. I do. I believe so much, I decided to pledge again this year as a family. I decided to increase my pledge this year as a family. But it's because I had this specific vision, guys. I thought about what it might be if one day the work of this church meant that when someone asked me where I went to church and I responded, First UU San Antonio, they said, oh, I've actually heard about you guys. I was thinking about joining. You guys just got your second assistant minister back, right? Right, yeah, because you have enough people. And which service do you go to? Do you go to the first service, the more traditional? Or do you go to the 11 o'clock, the more contemporary with the praise band? And I feel that if we pledge into this church, that 5-year plan that I made when they asked us to make a 5-year plan that many years ago could be true. If you think so too and haven't pledged, I encourage you to do so. Thank you.
On the spring equinox, also known as Ostara, night and day are again equal in length, and following this, the days will grow longer than the nights. The spring equinox is a time of renewal, a time to plant seeds as the earth once again comes to life. We decorate eggs as a symbol of hope, life, and fertility, and we perform rituals to energize, to energize ourselves so that we can find the power and passion to live and grow. Making anything new into a daily practice can be difficult at first. Finding the time and sticking with it are often the two most difficult parts of adding a new element to your life. Even if you start with just 15 minutes a day, you will soon find yourself making more time to do the things you enjoy doing. If something you try just isn't doing it for you, and after a few weeks you find yourself dreading it or looking at it as a chore, it probably isn't for you. Don't feel bad about giving something up once you've given it a fair chance. Not every practice is for every person, and there's nothing wrong with that. People are born with different talents and interests, and they develop different skill sets all the time. This doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you are budgeting and planning your time for what works for you. Just make sure you give it a fair chance. A meditation practice will not have the chance to grow if you only try for 2 days, any more than a seed will have the chance to germinate, grow, and produce food if you only water it for 2 days.
Thank you, Calli, for joining me this morning. I want to make a brief announcement. Polly Noel, our church president, has announced that there will be a meeting immediately after worship today in the fellowship hall to discuss the information that was presented to you this morning at the 10:30 meeting. I'll remind you again after we finish or before we leave the sanctuary. Well, we're talking about the spring equinox, balance, beginnings, and the courage to grow. Not long ago, I sat across from someone and tried to explain what their life felt like. After a few moments, they settled on a simple sentence: everything feels like too much. They did not rush to try to explain it. They did not list everything out. It was more like they had reached a point where words were hard to find. As we talked, the details became more focused. Health concerns had begun to take up more space. Work felt less secure than it once did. Relationships that used to feel steady had become complicated. None of that had happened all at once, but over time it had built into something heavy. What stood out most was not any single issue, but the sense that there was no place to rest. Even when one thing settled down, something else took its place. That kind of experience is not unusual right now. Many people are carrying more than they expected to carry. Some of it comes from personal circumstances. Some of it comes from what is happening around us. It can be difficult to tell where one ends and the other begins. And still, the season changes. The spring equinox arrives without asking whether we feel ready for it. It marks that moment when day and night hold equal time. After that, the light begins to extend itself, not dramatically, but steady. That quiet shift offers something worth paying attention to. It suggests that change does not always announce itself. Sometimes it grows into place. So looking back to move forward is what we do. When things feel unsettled, attention often turns to what might happen next. It is easy to get caught in that forward-looking tension. Another option is to pause and look at what has already been lived. Each person here has made it through moments that were not easy. There have been times when outcomes were unclear, when you had to continue without knowing how things would turn out. Those experiences carry information. Think about how you responded, not in a general way, but in the small, specific actions that help you keep going. There may have been someone you spoke to regularly, or a practice that gave your day some structure. In some cases, it may have been a decision you made internally about how you were going to approach the situation. Those responses were not accidental. They were choices, even if they did not feel like it at the time. Your ability to respond in those ways has not disappeared. It is still available, even if the current situation looks different. This is one of the quiet truths of seasons like this. What you need is often not entirely new, but a deeper use of what you already have. In other words, rather than moving to a foreign land, move deeper into your own wisdom. And what does it mean to begin again? Spring carries the idea of starting over, but that phrase can be misleading. Very little in life begins from scratch. More often, it is a continuation that's shaped by what came before it. My sermon text, the book titled Ostara, Rituals, Recipes, and Lore for the Spring Equinox, is one of those books that doesn't tell you what to believe, but invites you to explore. It weaves together history, myth, and simple practices in a way that feels grounded and open which many Unitarian Universalists will appreciate. The author gently encourages you to notice the rhythms and nature and of your own life, what's going on with curiosity, and to leave room for meaning making. That is, how you make meaning of your life. In traditions that recognize Ostara, this time is associated with planting and renewal. We tend to focus on the outcome for growth, the visible part that confirms something is happening. So the early stages are less obvious. The reading reminds us that a seed does not respond to brief attention. It requires consistency before anything emerges. That pattern applies well beyond gardening. A new habit, a repaired relationship, a shift in how you handle stress follow similar rhythms. At first, there may be little to show for the effort. It can feel uncertain, even discouraging. You must remind yourself the real work happens when you stay with the process long enough for the effort to take hold. And that is often the difference between something that fades quickly and something that grows. Well, how do you make space for what is next? Moving forward is not only about what you choose to begin. It involves deciding what you no longer need to carry. This takes time and deep listening to your life's experiences. And when I say time, I mean recognizing that big problems require extended periods of concentration. I once heard that Einstein would spend many hours a day just looking at the walls and at his desk trying to figure out these complex problems. So be compassionate with yourself when the answer comes slowly. Experiences from the past do not disappear. And they should not, because they offer insight and perspective. At the same time, they can become heavy if they're held in a way that keeps them active in every new situation. There's a difference between remembering and reliving. Letting go is not about forgetting, but about changing your relationship to what has already happened so that it does not limit what can happen next. Space is a part of growth, and without it, your new efforts have little room to take hold. So how does this change actually unfold? It is common to think of change as something that happens in a clear, decisive moment. In practice, it is usually less defined. I think of someone who went through a major transition that affected both their circumstances and their sense of identity. For a time, they stayed focused on understanding what had gone wrong, which was necessary and a part of the process. Eventually, their attention shifted toward what could be done from where they were. The first steps were small: a conversation, an attempt at something familiar, an attempt at something unfamiliar, and a willingness to try without knowing the result. Nothing changed overnight. There were setbacks along the way. But over time, those small steps created movement. They began to see possibilities that were not visible at the beginning. And that is how change works. It is built through a series of responses rather than a single decision. Balance is often described as if it involves equal attention to everything. I would submit to you that that idea does not hold up in practice. And I love what Dr. Laura Schlesinger used to teach. There is no such thing as balance. There are only choices. At any given time, some things require more attention than others. The challenge is recognizing which is which. Our UU values encourage intentional living and an awareness of how we are connected. That awareness can guide how we decide where to focus. When everything feels important, you need to pause and consider what needs attention now and what can wait. That kind of clarity does not remove pressure, but it does reduce the sense of being pulled in every direction at once. If you're avoiding or in denial about something important, that is a sign. That is nature's way of telling you that you're experiencing a personal equinox. Time to change seasons. A simple way to engage this time of year is to choose one area to focus on. It does not need to be large or complex. What matters is that it is meaningful. Give it steady attention. Notice what helps and what does not, and adjust as needed. Sharing the process with others can make it easier to stay engaged. Families can do this together. Friends can check in on one another. But how do you find gratitude in all of this change? There is a great deal of happening in the world that feels overwhelming, and that reality does not mean or need to be minimized or explained away. But gratitude offers a way to remain grounded during overwhelm because gratitude does not deny difficulty. It shifts attention toward what is still present and meaningful. Even small amounts can contribute to that sense of steadiness. A conversation that goes well, a moment of quiet, something that brings a sense of connection. Maybe it's time to reconnect with that friend you've been wanting to call for a long time. Those moments do not solve everything, but they can support how you move through what you are facing. I want to shift gears just a little bit here. We already have heard from Tavis, but I want to speak also to stewardship. I was thinking maybe this might be a repeat, but I know I'm in a room of NPR listeners who've been listening to a campaign for the last few weeks. So you're used to hearing things over and over. But there is one aspect of this season that we share together, and our stewardship drive is underway. It asks us to consider how will we support this community in the year ahead. A few weeks ago, I spoke about the importance of being ready when people need this place. That idea is not abstract, and it shows up in real moments. Someone walks through the door carrying more than they expected. They may not know exactly what they're looking for. What matters is something here that meets them where they are. A welcome, a conversation, a sense of place. Those experiences are possible because this community is sustained in practical ways. The building is cared for, programs continue, people remain engaged. That happens because individuals contribute. A pledge, as you heard from Tavis, is one way of taking part in shared responsibility. It supports what is already happening and makes possible for it to continue. The amount will look different for each person. What matters is your decision to participate. Remember, when you contribute, you help ensure that this place remains available, not only for yourself, but for others who will come here in the future. Before I let you go, consider this. The season is changing. Light is increasing, even though the shift is gradual. What you have lived through still matters. It shapes how you move forward from here. As you consider what comes next, think about what deserves your attention and what you can set aside. Then take the step in a way that is steady and intentional. Your growth does not depend on getting everything right. It depends on you staying engaged. And while you do that, remember, you are a part of a community that continues to learn, adapt, and support one another. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.
Our church has a larger purpose to support all of us in becoming more generous in giving of our time, talent, and treasure, all in a context of trust. Would the ushers please come forward to collect the morning's offering?
And I want to dedicate this tune to Rob Mahan. I've heard him sing it more times than I can count, but this is my interpretation. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. From glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses fallen. 'Tis you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, and all the valleys hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But if ye come, and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear, though soft, you tread above me, and all my grave will warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me. And I shall sleep in peace until you come to me.
Thank you, Tavis. Peace is what we need more of today. We give thanks for your gifts and all that you bring to make this beloved community. Amen. Our closing hymn is number 183, The Winds of Change. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit as we sing together. I want to thank Calli Biemer for joining me in the pulpit today and for our beautiful musicians. And a reminder that there will be a meeting in the fellowship hall immediately following the service that will be hosted by the Board of Trustees. You're all invited to attend. Our closing is from Ostara on this celebration of this spring equinox. She writes, "To my Lady Nature, we thank you for your presence and your love. In our devotion, we bid you farewell. Depart from us at your will. Watchtower to the west, blessed water, source of life. In our devotion, we bid you farewell. Depart from us at your will. Watchtower of the north, blessed earth, home of where all seeds grow. Depart from us at your will. Watchtower of the east, blessed air, that which gives us all life. Depart from us at your will. And watchtower from the south, blessed fire, that which brings heat to us all. Depart from us at your will." And I invite you to repeat after me this last line. The circle shall be open, but remain unbroken. Friends, keep your heads up and your hearts open. Go in peace and spread the good news of this beautiful faith community. Go in peace. Amen.